Car hasn't been driven in 3 days, cold start.
Hey, what I'm saying?
Sounds nice. Okay, I have some exciting news, and I have to announce it here first that the downpipe is officially ordered, and I'm super hyped. We got the ARM Motorsports downpipe, and it is ordered right here at the top of your screen. We have it. It's coming in. It's coming soon. Stage 2 is on its way. I'm super excited. We have a bunch of videos to do for stage 2, so I'm super hyped. So stay tuned, because that's coming. That's news number 1. News number 2 of the day, breaking news, is I'm so happy to finally announce that we have Real Speed membership. So with those memberships, we have 2 levels. We have gold and we have platinum. And I'll show you right here. Real Speed Gold gives you loyalty badges, priority reply to comments, members only polls, and photos and status updates before any videos come out. If you go for the platinum, that includes photos, video status, early access to new videos, free merchandise every single month as long as you stay a subscriber, priority reply to comments, and members only polls. Pretty much the same thing as you get in gold, but you get early access to videos and you get free merchandise. So if that sounds really good to you guys and you want to be a part of the Real Speed family, we can be together as a team, make sure to subscribe and become a Real Speed family member today. I am so happy. I've been putting that in the works the last couple months, and I'm so happy to finally announce it. So boys, make sure to go check it out and become a Real Speed member. The Real Speed Gold is $4.99. The Real Speed Platinum is $9.99 a month. If you guys have any questions, you can DM me at Real Speed Company on Instagram. Link is always in the description and on top of your screen right here. Please let me know if you have any questions about these memberships before you subscribe. Always be sure to either comment in the videos or DM me on Instagram. I will be sure to answer all those questions and clear anything up that you may have. We're gonna talk about how it is to drive a Mark 7 GTI stock and why you should modify it and not drive it stock. Thank you. Appreciate you. Have a good one. Thank you. Ooh, a little bit of burbles on this Friday afternoon. I always get a frozen chocolate. You guys don't know what that is, from Dunkin' Donuts. It's frozen, basically a frozen hot chocolate, and it's really good. Let me tell you, he didn't put whipped cream on it, but it's really good. I don't know. I had a, I went to a restaurant and I had a frozen chocolate martini. It was so good. It tasted like a Dunkin' Donuts frozen chocolate, but with alcohol in it. It was really good. That I'm not gonna deny. I'm gonna have to go back to the restaurant and have that again. We got the dunk. Yeah, even got the little chocolate on it. I can't grip the wheel. This is the best stuff, right? It is so good. I'm excited to put the downpipe on. It's been a long time coming. I've been wanting to do it for a while, but I just couldn't find the one that I wanted, and it took a little while, and I'm happy that I found the one I wanted because, damn, I'm so excited. It's gonna be insane. Finally gonna have a Stage 2 GTI. Before we go move on to the next build and the next car in the near future, we can go Stage 2. I'm gonna make a whole bunch of videos on it. It's gonna be awesome. Super stoked about it. Friend from the military comes home, maybe tomorrow. I'm hoping tomorrow, which will be Saturday. If not, it'll be Sunday or Monday. And he's looking to get a GTI. So we might be seeing that on the channel coming up soon. We might not, I don't know yet. I'm trying to figure out kind of what he wants to do. He actually helps me a lot in the background with content. He does some of the shorts editing, some of the background photos for Instagram. He does some help for me, and I appreciate that. So we're potentially gonna be seeing him on the channel a little bit more if he buys a GTI. Why should you not drive a stock GTI? Well, before I mount the camera up on the windshield, it's a boring car to drive, factory. I'm sorry. I'll take a toast to that any day of the week. It really is. I hate to say it, but it really is. I bought this car at the end of 2021, and within 2 weeks, I put an exhaust on it. Literally within 2 weeks. I had to. The car was quiet, wasn't aggressive, there was no sound to it. It was boring. It needed help. And now that I'm Stage 1 plus, with an intake, with an exhaust, just having sound, hearing the intake, hearing the turbo spool a little bit, hearing the exhaust, having a little bit more power, everything about that makes the car feel that much better. Do a little pull. God, farts are amazing. One thing I really can appreciate about dual clutches is they have, it's not just an exhaust that shifts and has sound, it's an exhaust that farts and pops and bangs, and it just has a whole bunch of different factors to it. I guess that's another reason why, is the sound factor. I mean, I'm talking like, even if you just put an exhaust on this car, I mean, the sound factor is excellent. It's excellent. There's nothing, I really can't complain about it. I think driving it stock, and I remember it vividly driving it stock, there was just nothing to it. It was super slow, super laggy, really, really quiet, and I couldn't stand it. And seeing it now like this, I can appreciate it more. I can appreciate seeing it much more aggressive. It definitely feels like the car is something now. While before it felt like it was nothing, now it feels like it's something. And that's kind of what I like about it. I like that the car feels like something, you know? They call this car a performance car, and then you buy it and you get in it and there's nothing really performance to it besides maybe the flat bottom steering wheel and the red accents. You know, that's not really performance. Performance is like the Cadillac I did last week, or a BMW M4 competition, or right? Like, that's performance. This car doesn't speak performance. Now the newer ones kind of do. They have a little bit of burbles. They have a little bit of the more sporty accents. They have sporty wheels, sporty front bumper. There's nothing really sporty about this car besides maybe the steering wheel. When you buy it and then you drive it and you're like, that's all it has? That's all we got? That's what sucks about it. But it's a good thing at the same time because it makes for a great project car. And that's another reason why it is excellent to build and modify this car rather than keeping it stock. Because literally, it is the perfect car to modify. Literally, everything is right in front of you. You have 100 options for parts. You can build this in any way you want. And on top of it, it's got nothing factory, so you can build upon that and give it anything you want. You can make this car 350 horsepower, 400 horsepower. You could do a IS38 turbo build and do a stage 3 and make this 470 horsepower. You could do a Garrett PowerMax turbo and new injectors E85 and make this 550 horsepower. I mean, you can do anything to this car and it has the potential. This car can hold up comfortably up to 600. So when you put, 600 horsepower in a 2,900 pound rocket, mini rocket, it's awesome. And that's what's cool about this car. And that's why it's been my dream car the last 8 years, because literally seeing how small this car is and the potential that it has is just insane. I drove an Audi S4 that has this power factory, actually a little bit more factory. And that car felt really fast, but it didn't wow me. It still needed to be tuned. It needed modifications. Like, it still needed a little bit of something to really make it feel aggressive. And that's a 3,600 pound car. That's a full size sedan. This car is so tiny and it has all that potential. It makes for a super electric, fun car to modify. And that's kind of like, that's one of the reasons why I say, like, this is the perfect first car build. If you have never done a build before, but you want to so bad in your life because you love cars and you're trying to pursue it, this is the perfect car for it. It is inexpensive. The gas is relatively cheap in it. Insurance is relatively cheap in it. And on top of it, the parts aren't super expensive. I just bought a downpipe for just under $400 today, which is pretty good. Now they have downpipes out there for $800, $900. They always do. I have an $800 exhaust. They have $3,000 exhaust out there. They always have more expensive parts out there. But what I'm saying is, don't be afraid to spend a little bit of less money on modifications, because at the same time, it's a good way to budget. And we're gonna be making a video on that soon, on best way to do a budget GTI build, because I've gotten asked a lot of questions about that, about how much parts cost and how much the build can be. And my build specifically, kind of like after we do the downpipe, I really want to kind of go over some of the stuff we've done. Like I said, I haven't gone overboard with this build like I wanted to initially. The next build we'll be doing that, hopefully. This build we didn't, kind of stinks. But we did do a lot of components, at least performance-wise on this car, to give it the power that it has. So we are gonna go over kind of a budget GTI build, how much I've spent, how much is worth spending more, like what parts are worth spending more, what parts are worth saving money on. We're gonna be going over that shortly in another video. So in case you guys have any questions on that, stay tuned. That video will be coming out shortly as well. But I don't know, I mean, what do you guys kind of think on the perspective of that? Because my perspective is, it's a perfect car to give a lot of power. Plus it looks nice. I mean, it's a nice looking car. The front wheel drive kind of stinks, but I just feel like taking a car like this and turning it into a sleeper monster or beast kind of, I don't know, makes me feel good at the end of the day. Like, do I have the most luxurious car on the road? No. Do I have the sportiest car on the road? No. But I have a car that can definitely show you what's up. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all want a car that can show you what's up, because having a sleeper car is honestly one of the coolest things possible. I love that this car is considered a sleeper car, because it just throws you and it sounds amazing. It just it's awesome. When you buy this car factory, sure, is it a cool car to have? Can you just leave it factory? I've actually seen people leave it factory before. Is that a cool thing too? Sure, yeah, depending on what you're gonna use the car for. If this is just your commuter car and you're in your mid-30s and you're going to work and it's just, you just want a car that is classified as sporty and you just want something to get you around and have a little bit of pep to it, a little bit of torquiness, then yeah, sure, there's nothing wrong with keeping the car factory. It just, the car factory doesn't have that it factor. And I needed it to have that it factor. And Stage 1 Plus is starting to identify what this car can really be, and it's starting to get that it factor. Now I'm excited for Stage 2 to see if it really solidifies that it factor. Is it worth spending 27 grand on this car? Is it worth spending almost 10 grand on parts to make it fast? Is it worth that? Well, Stage 2 will finalize it. So far, do I feel like it's worth it? Yeah, because I don't think I would have bought this car if I had to keep it stock or couldn't do anything to it. I think I would have absolutely just passed up on it. I didn't like the power ratio, power to torque ratio. I didn't like the front wheel drive. I didn't like how small the turbo was. So yeah, I absolutely would have passed up this car if I couldn't. I just started with the exhaust. And when I did the exhaust, it gained a little bit of power, a little bit of torque, not a lot because it wasn't tuned, but I gained, you know, you gain about 8 to 10 horsepower, 8 to 10 foot-pounds of torque automatically when you do put an exhaust on it. And when I did it, even then the car felt great. It sounded amazing. It added a little bit of that, you know, that oomph that I was looking for, with lack of better words. But that's kind of what I was looking for. I just needed something, because when I was driving this car factory, like I said, it had nothing. It didn't sound like anything. There was no burbles. Not like a factory Golf R that has burbles and sounds pretty nice. Like, this thing didn't sound like anything. Literally, it didn't sound like anything. So, you know, and like I said, when you're buying a factory performance car, it's got to sound like something, right? You know, even, you know, I've been driving some of the newer, you know, $50,000, $60,000 performance cars, and they all sound like something. They all have something. This car has a lot more sound now, but, you know, they all have a little bit of factory sound. Like, it's almost like, and I've talked about this with people at dealerships, and I've talked about it to you guys in the vlog before. Like, when I drive those cars, I know this isn't 50, 60,000, I understand that. But at the same time, give me something. Like, Taylor's Kia Forte GT has a little bit of burbles, a little bit of rumbles, a little bit of DCT farts. It has a little bit of something. Does it sound, you know, amazing? No, because it's just a factory exhaust, but does it sound pretty good? Yes, I can literally agree with that. It sounds freaking great. It has a good cold start, actually has some sound to it. It spits a little bit of burbles when you start it. I'm like, wow, this actually sounds pretty freaking good. It's amazing. And then this car sounds like nothing. So at the lowest price you can find exhaust is about $700 for, I believe, a Borla. So if you don't want to modify it fully, but you want to do something to it, that, even just doing that is, you know, still technically modified, not technically 100% stock, and it gives you a little bit of something with the car. Even, I know some people too, they'll keep the factory exhaust and they'll just cut off the rear muffler, or they'll delete the resonator and the mid muffler. You know, they'll do like a little bit of something. They'll do a, you know, a res delete or a mid muffler delete, and what that'll do is at least clear up the sound a little bit. And that, even doing that is fine, and that's inexpensive too. If you do that, it only costs you a couple $100. Yeah, it's a 2-inch exhaust, not a 3-inch exhaust like I have, but at the same time, you're still getting a little bit of something, and it helps. This car works for whatever build you're set out to do. You want to try to make this a track car, you can do it. You want to make this a show car, you can do it. You know, you want to make this a tuner build, you can do it. I want to just make this a clean, subtle performance build. Nothing too aggressive, nothing too crazy. I got the Porsche wheels. I got a slightly less aggressive front lip now. That was just because I didn't feel like getting a full front lip after the other one cracked. I don't have a rear diffuser on it. I've thought about it many times, but I don't have one. I got the subtle spoiler. I got the very subtle things on this car to make it look really good, but also perform really good. And that's kind of the number one thing I wanted to do. Is originally I wanted to go crazy, and my next car I think I'm gonna just go above and beyond and just send it through the roof with just a crazy, super high horsepower build, as much as we can get a car. Like if I get an RS3, that's one of the options. Let's make it 1,000 horsepower. We have 1,000 horsepower RS3 on the channel. We'll take it on drag strips, we'll put radials on it, and we'll just go nuts. That's my goal for the next build. And I promise you, you're gonna wanna subscribe, because I'm set out to 100% make that happen, boys. So stay tuned to that. But first, we gotta finish this build. We're not there yet. We'll get there soon though, I promise. But we're not there yet. Also, I haven't taken a sip of my frozen chocolate in a while. It's the best. Anyway, sometimes I complain about the lag, and sometimes I complain about the creaks and the, you know, all the things that happen in this car. And then sometimes I'm like I haven't driven this car in 3 days. And I'm like, damn, I miss it. Like whenever we, you know, me and Taylor go somewhere, or me and my friends go somewhere, like I want to take my car because I still love driving it regardless. And this is what I said to my friends after I modified it. I said, the car is a pleasure to drive now. What before was just a decent car to drive is now an absolute pleasure to drive. And I can drive it any way I want it. I can have my aggressive Fridays, or I can have my cruising Sundays. It doesn't matter. If I haven't enticed you to do a build yet, maybe this will. You thought I was done? I got more for you. Oh my God. That still wows me. And I've been driving this car like this for the last year. I hate when the new season comes in and it's windy. Like, don't be ruining my shots. Don't be ruining my shots, boys. If I haven't enticed you yet. I hope now I have. Alright, we're gonna pull over because I need to set the camera back up and it's dying, so you know. We're living the dream. This is me literally trying different perspectives right now because I just want to have some fun and show you guys the car a little bit more. For any of you that haven't seen this car yet, let's do a little pull with it. Whoa. Spinning tire. One thing I don't love. It's got so much power it spins. I'm gonna put that window up. We're gonna make it jolt. That's good stage 1 downshifts. Oh boy. We're spinning. Oh. Welcome to Rhode Island, people. The roads suck.